Hey there, I'm Stace and I've just spent 2 hours prepping enough food for my crew to be eating little mixed bowls of whatever they love for lunch, for dinner, and I think I'll have enough here for breakfast as well. All the recipes are below, so let's get cooking. Whenever I'm food prepping, I think about what is going to take the longest and get going on that first. Rice takes ages. I always do that absorption method, which is a cup of rice to a cup and a half of water. So in that goes first. And then next, I'm going to move on to things that need to go into the oven. See what I do here? Rather than being like, I'm going to chop some salad, and then at the end, you've got all of this time that's waiting for things to cook. So do those first. I'm doing some sweet potatoes, and some pumpkin. Is it just me, or is pumpkin the hardest thing in the world to cut? You got to let me know in the comments if you have a hack to do it. It puts muscles on muscles for me. It is tricky. And then I put all of this on the one tray and I go ahead and season them differently. I've linked all of the recipes below in the description. You'll see there a link across to staceyclaire.com, and I've written out every single one of these recipes, sweet lady. So if you want to follow this prep to a T, done. I've also included a link in that web post for you that's got all these recipes that has my freezer dump bag course, because you've probably seen some of my prep videos on here before. Howdy. And you might want to follow a prep guide where it's the whole meal and they all go into the freezer. Then you can do that there. The link is for that. Next thing I'm doing is I'm making some of these Brazilian cheese puffs. Have you had these before? Holy moly, they're so good. This is the Joe Witten Quirky Cooking recipe. It's a gluten-free one. And the thing I love about this is it's super duper high in real proteins. So that's a whole heap of cheddar cheese. I actually bought the skim milk variety. Again, less fat, much higher protein. And you basically grind that down. You're going to put milk, you're going to put eggs, and I also do tapioca. Now, because I'm food prepping, that stuff needs to melt down for about 5 to 6 minutes. So I'm going to use that time and prep some of my pickled onions. Hello, pickled onions. These are seriously the highlight of every single meal prep. And my sweet dad, whenever he comes down, he's always in the fridge and he's like, Stace, where are they? Where are they? They are so good. They're so simple to make. I just use my little tool. I've linked that as well on the blog post from Amazon. I love it. And I just medallion those, and then I put hot water on my pickled onions because it speeds up the process. So while that's sitting and doing its thing with the onions, I get back onto these cheese puffs. This is the beauty of kind of food prepping and doing, knowing what you're going to cook, is that you can be like, okay, cool, let's, do a little bit of that and then move over to this thing. In goes the flour. I am making these cheese puffs gluten-free because I mostly eat gluten-free. So I use tapioca flour in this. It's really great as it acts as a great glue for it. Look at that. It is so good. And now all that is left to do is they like to sit for a little while in the fridge. So again, this is why I've made this up first. In saying that though, these have been an absolute hit with my family, especially my little lady. She's had these for brekkie, and make sure you watch all the way to the end because I've actually started including how I've been serving this meal prep and pulling together as meals. And the last 2 days she's had them for brekkie. I just heat them up in my air fryer. I've got a glass one of those. Don't worry, I've linked it in the blog post as well for you. And I heat that up with just some of this meat and a bit of fruit, and holy moly, she doesn't come at me for food until about 1 o'clock, which she's on school holidays at the moment, is obviously a very welcome relief. They are so good to have on hand. I made a double batch so that I've got enough in the freezer to make another batch at the next meal prep. This is how I finish off the pickled onions. So I pickle mine with a fermented apple cider vinegar. This is just another really great way. Rather than putting in white vinegar, this is much friendlier for the gut. A little bit of real sugar, and then I flavour it with some rosemary and also a few other spices, and then I just
push it down underneath that vinegar liquid into the fridge, and sister, you have made pickled onions that'll last you 58 years, but because they're so delicious, they're probably going to last you a week. All right, now is on to all of my proteins. I am making a mince recipe. You'll see me giggling down here to the side because my sweet little puppy, Normie, I hope you're following me over there on Instagram and Facebook. I'm Stacey Claire _health coach on both of those. You would have seen that for Christmas. My babes finally got their 3-year request of a puppy dog. His name's Norman, old man Norman. He is a groodle and he's about half the size that he's going to end up being, and we are trying to teach him loads at the moment. So here's my go at putting down the food, but stop, young man. You're not just gobbling it up. I'm going to tell you when you can, so we're making him sit, we put it down, and then we let him go. Our hope is that if we train him well as a puppy, that he'll be great as a bigger dog. If you've got any food tips for dogs, can you please help me out in the comments? I'm still trying to figure out what to feed him. It's an absolute minefield. All right, so the mince is away there cooking on the cooktop. While that's doing its thing, I'm going to get going on my cheats way of making a schnitzel. Now, this recipe is from my 20-minute meal plan. I have a little course there that you can follow that is basically all 20-minute meals prepped. And I wanted to make schnitzel because my babes just love it, but if you're doing it in 20 minutes, sister, you don't have time for the eggs. You don't have time for the flour. So all I do is basically bash in breadcrumbs to my chicken schnitzels. I put on my fancy little apron for the fats, and I'm cooking those up while I'm getting the other bits done with my mince. Look at sweet little Normie. He was snoozing when I was cooking the veg. Yeah, you were, mate, but now you're awake. When I've done the meat proteins, oh my God, I just love having him about. It's just the absolute best. All right, these recipes, don't worry, they are all linked in that blog post, so grab it down below in the description so that you can give these a go. And I'd love to know as well in the comments, I'm doing mince, I'm doing chicken, and you'll see me in a sec, I'll also do some fish. Is there one of those that you're like, you know what, if I'm going to meal prep, that is something that I know my kids will 100% eat each time? I'd really love to know because I regularly do these cook-ups and I do them not just for my crew, but I love giving you guys that motivation too. And if you're like, Stace, I want to see more hacks like how you make schnitzels really quick, or I've always got mince and I cook it each week, but I want some ways to cook it a bit different, let me know. What I'm doing here is all of those breadcrumbs that fell off my schnitzel. Look at that. I'm just toasting them up because they're going to be delicious on top of one of my poke bowls that I pull them together with. Truth be told, I turned some of this into a pasta for the kids for dinner, and I crumbled up all of those little breadcrumbs that I crisped up over the top. They loved it. Here is how we make these cheese puffs. So they've sat in the fridge for a good half an hour. My stuff in the oven is nearly done, all those veggies, so I can whack this in. Here I am going with my fish. I've enjoyed having the fish this week, but I have to be honest, like, fish doesn't come easy to me and I desperately want to eat it more. So I'm trying to find recipes to cook that with. So I just used a seafood herb rub that I got from the Sauce Bulk Foods and covered it in lime after it cooked. It tastes pretty good. I think maybe next time I'll prep some prawns. All right, here I am onto shaving some cabbage because I'm using this as sort of my greens-esque base for my poke bowls. I do add a little bit of vinegar to this as well. It wilts it. It just makes it that little bit softer and also gives it a bit of flavour. That is always my recommendation, and definitely a way that I have always got my kids enjoying vegetables more is that I very rarely serve them as is. I actually can't even remember if I ever do that. Literally, if I'm cooking even broccoli, I will put butter on it and some herbs. It just helps. Look at these. Oh my God, these cheese puffs. Oh, these are the best. And then I had an absolute fail come and laugh at me. Oh, they stuck.
All right, listen.
All right, lesson learned. I'm going to have to put them in little patties, which is what I did with that smaller one there. Can you also let me know, have you cooked these before? What do I need to be doing to make sure that doesn't happen again? Please holler at me in the comments. All right, the corn, what I was doing there is from frozen, I am crisping it up so it gets some char grilled flavour on it on my cooktop. I am using my little cutter here to prep the veg. Oh my gosh, I love this. This turns into the mandolin as well, and chopping it like this. Oh my gosh, it's got a few different cutters on it. It's a Joseph brand and I grabbed it on Amazon. I have linked it below if you want to be a doll and grab it from me with the affiliate code. I'd be very grateful. All right, now in for that char grilled corn. I beg you, do it this way. Take that extra minute and just crisp it up because it will taste so delicious if you're eating it cold, which often we do with the corn. All right, now is the fun part of pulling everything together. The rice has cooled. I'm plating everything up into my Pyrex containers. I use rectangle ones. I've got a 5, 9, and 11 cup size. I literally have only those 3 in my kitchen. They are perfect because they stack so well in the fridge. They don't lose space because they're not circles.
And I'm done. All that's left is to put on the lids. This is feeling mammoth. I am so excited because this means I've got enough for lunch boxes. I've also got enough for dinners. And truth be told, babe, like one of these cheese puffs with a bit of this salad and a runny egg, that is breakfast sorted. Make sure you are subscribed. And if you're into food prep, welcome. I'm Stace. You're gonna love it here. Check out my videos below. I do lots for prepping for slow cookers, prepping for lunch boxes, and just kind of prepping for the week ahead. Make sure you're subscribed and check out all of the recipes in the description below because I want you to cook like this. And check out my Instagram, Stacey_health coach there, because I'm gonna video how my little crew of 5 actually pull these together into their own poke bowls or when we're adding extra bits to it. I think it'll give you some really cool ideas. How good does it feel putting the lids on? See you in the next video. Last lid. Put these lids on too. Look at my pickled onions. And my boiled eggs. I reckon breakfast, lunch and dinner for 5 is pretty much sorted right here for a full week.